Hey YouTube, Sam here. We're back on the 01 Ford Explorer. We're in the rear passenger side of the vehicle, and what it is we're replacing here is the some people call it the fifth or third shock in the back, or the fifth shock altogether if you're doing them all. But what the actual name is axle shaft dampener, and basically it acts like a steering stabilizer on the front. The bottom down there hooks to the third member or pumpkin or whatever you want to call it, and the top hooks up here up on the frame. This bracket is actually attached right to the frame. Now when I went to the parts store, I looked all around for this thing, and the only one I could find was at O'Reilly's, and at the parts store the part number for the one they gave me is SC2958. It's a Monroe shock, and it actually says steering stabilizer on it. I was expecting something that actually said axle shaft dampener, but that's not what you get. Is this right here, and it's a little bigger as far as a round size, but lengthwise it's the same, and I can see that this basically is very similar to a steering stabilizer in that it doesn't really shock, or it more absorbs both directions. I don't know how to explain that, but basically it just keeps this axle from wanting to bounce up and down any more than you want it to, I guess. But if you have this is a limited, I don't know if they all have it or if it's just in the limited here. I do know that there's not a whole lot on this particular piece here, so I'm going to go ahead and replace it. Tire off obviously on the passenger side here. Actually got them off all the way around, but I got it up on jack stands. Once again, you do it the way you feel safe doing it, but to be honest, to do this you're gonna have to take the tire off probably. You might be able to crawl up under there if you can jack it up enough, but you're probably gonna have to take the tire off and have at least a jack stand under each side as you do it. So yet again, it's up to you. You are responsible for your own safety. If I do anything that you don't like, don't figure out what I had, and unfortunately I don't have a 1/2 inch 15mm socket, and so I would probably do this with an impact otherwise. And I kind of looked around trying to find something to fit this, and I couldn't find anything. Come to find out, it's actually welded on there when I took a closer look at it. So I got my 1/2 inch ratchet with a step down to get to a 15mm is what it is bolt. It's actually not coming off too bad. I got a extension on my, just a bar on the end of my ratchet here, and it is coming loose. Of course I took my PB blaster to it, and it's coming off like butter. So yet again, they are not sponsoring me. I'll never go back. Cracked loose the bottom now. I'm going to the top, also 15mm, and it's got this, I don't know if you can see it, it's kind of sticking out, and this is actually kind of welded onto the nut, so it turned a little bit and it's hitting the bottom of the frame. That should make it so I can pull this off the rest of the way. Now that I got them cracked loose, I'm going to go ahead and hit them with an impact. Yes, I know I shouldn't use chrome sockets nor the 3/8 drive, but I'm going to do it anyway. You can choose to do what you want to do, what you feel safe with. Opposite of what it came out. The bottom one just screws into the bolt up there. This top one, have to put this out. You gotta squeeze it down a little bit here. Okay. Now I need to pull it back up a little bit, I guess, because I went too far. There we go. And that hopefully goes here, and the nut side goes out. here. And that just holds the nut. And then we'll tighten those up. Now this actually did come with specs as far as torque on the instructions, but once again, if you get a different one that calls for different specs, who knows. This is the only one I could find, but I'm not going to throw out spec as far as torque specs, so it's up to you to figure that part of it out. Alright, well, that was a pretty simple project there. We'll get those buttoned up, and you don't need to watch me bolt that all down. So, this is Sam, Jack of all, master of none. You all have a good one.